Welcome to another unboxing video of a kit that I'm really looking forward to build. The Israeli F-15I raam from Great Wall Hobby. It's a 72nd scale kit and the priciest kit I ever bought. However, I'm pretty sure it was worth the 45 euros because I already had a look inside the box. The box art is quite an eye-catcher and I really like the paint scheme of those Israeli F-15s. There are two versions you can build and here on the side of the box we can see them. The first one depicts an eagle of the Test and Evaluation Squadron. And the other one is an aircraft of the Hammers Squadron. Both look great if you ask me, but now let's have a look inside the box. There is a ton of parts as you can see. Let's start with the manual as usual. Here we find the same picture from the box art as well as some information about the aircraft. Then a few separate pages which show us the assembly. We'll come to that in a second. An overview of all the parts in this kit as well as the decal sheets. And the usual hints and tips as well as an overview of the paints needed. Alright, let's have a look on the assembling instructions. As usual, you start with the cockpit. Seems like you already get some paint callouts here. When you assembled and painted the cockpit, you add the decals for the instrument panels. Now you are ready to glue the nose together. Even the radar dish is modeled. I haven't seen such detail in a 72nd kit before. More parts for the canopy and the intakes. Moving on to the fuselage, where you need to drill holes. Then the assembly of the exhaust nozzles. Those look very detailed. Then you have to decide if you want to have the gear up or down. Depending on that, you need to use different parts on the air intakes. Up next you add the engine nacelles. Then you can add the canopy and air brake, which can both be displayed in the opened or closed position. Up next you add the control surfaces. The flaps are separate parts, so you can also decide if you want to display them up or down. If you decide to have the landing gear down, you move on with the assembly of the landing gear. To sum it up, there are quite a few options with the radar, air brake, flaps and all that. The conformal fuel tanks are already molded to the fuselage, but you still need to add the pylons. Looks like there is a good variety of armament. There are AMRAAMs, different types of bombs, a data link pod, targeting pod, as well as a navigation pod. And we even get Israeli air-to-surface missiles. And even more armament. Some large fuel tanks, laser-guided bombs, and the AGM-130, which isn't in use in the IAF as far as I know. And finally, the Python, which is a short-range air-to-air missile developed in Israel. On the same page we find the decal guide for the pylons. And here we can find possible loadout options. With this variety of weapons you can arm the aircraft to the teeth, which is great. Also, it seems like the loadout is linked to the version you want to build. It's also interesting that both of these loadouts are asymmetric. Anyways, the options are almost endless and another big plus of this kit. On this last sheet we find the painting guide. First up, the Test and Evaluation Squadron of the Israeli Air Force. You can find a list of paints from Mr. Color, Vallejo, Emma of MiG and Federal Standard in the manual. And here the second option for the Hammers Squadron with the eagle on the vertical stabilizer. Other than that, it's the same three-tone camo. I haven't decided which one I'll build yet, both versions look interesting. And finally the decal guide. As you can see, there are dozens of them, so it will take quite some time to finish this model. And here is the first of two sheets of decals. Lots and lots of warnings, no step signs and all that. On the same sheet we find the instrument panels, which are exceptionally detailed. Here is the second decal sheet with even more stencils, the roundels of the Israeli Air Force, and the squadron markings for both versions. Now let's have a look on the parts. First up the clear parts, and I also got myself some cheap masks for that. As you can see, they are for the F-15I, but I'm quite sure that won't make a big difference. And the clear parts. There is this seam line here, not sure if the camera picks that up. And the head-up display. Yeah, overall the detail is nice with all those rivets along the sides here, but the seam line is a bit of a letdown for a kit like this. Nevertheless, let's move on to the other sprues. On this first one we find what seems to be the underside of the wings with a part of the fuselage. Then we get the parts for the radar and the nose section. Furthermore, a lot of pylons, and all of this has great surface detail. Let's zoom in a bit. I hope you can see that. All the crispy panel lines and rivets. Also here the area behind the canopy. Here the inner side of the nose section with a couple of buttons and switches molded to them. And the definite highlight for me is the radar. I haven't seen that on any 72nd scale kit so far. On this next sprue we find the upper side and the vertical and horizontal stabilizers. What's interesting is that the horizontal stabilizers have raised panel lines. And again, wonderful surface detail here on the wings and fuselage. Even behind the air brake. And the vertical stabilizer. On to the next sprues, where we already find some armament. I believe this is the GBU-15, and there is the engine for the AGM-130. And here another guided bomb. I have to say the detail even on these smaller parts is very good. On this sprue we find the nose and 2 air brakes, interesting. Here are the wheels, which simulate the weight of the F-15. The nose, parts for the landing gear, and the engine nacelles. And some smaller hinges for the landing gear. Ah, okay, there is a different, more detailed air brake for the opened position. At least that's what I think. Anyways, let's move on to these parts. Here are the intakes and more parts for the engines. Again, amazing attention to detail. You won't need any expensive aftermarket sets for this kit. And the lower part of the fuselage with the CFTs. Great surface detail, also in the wheelbase. And the next sprue with parts for the cockpit. Here we have the instrument panels for both the pilot and Wizzo. Look at all these tiny knobs and switches, it's fascinating. And the same level to detail over here. If you got a steady hand, I would recommend painting the details instead of using the decals. Wow, I'm really impressed. So far I think the kit was worth its price. 2 of these sprues. Here we find more parts for the engines. And I think these panels are inside the air intakes. And down here the ejection seat. Again, no need to buy any aftermarket sets in my opinion. And here is all that's left, even more loadout. Let's start with this one, where we find the AGM-142 air-to-ground missile and the Python air-to-air missile. Alright, what else? 3 identical sprues with the GBU-38. Yeah, that's that. Next up, the fuel tanks. Recessed panel lines. Then we have the air-to-air loadout with the MRAMs and sidewinders. Not sure what this tiny part here is. Now, what do we have here? I think that's the targeting pod. AAQ-14, yes. And here the AAQ-13 navigation pod. And finally the data link pod. So many possibilities here. Last but not least, 4 identical sprues. These are the GBU-12s, I think. There are so many options here, it's great. So that's all there is, and I have to say I'm very impressed. Of course the price point of this kit is quite high, but you won't need any expensive aftermarket resin or photo etch parts whatsoever. I just hope there are no fitting issues whatsoever on this otherwise perfect kit. I've only built one F-15 so far, which was this 1/44th scale Strike Eagle from Revell. Check out my build review of this neat little jet and subscribe if you want to see my future projects. Thanks for watching and bye.